The following is rated S for spoilers.
I'm an Avenger. I've called the other Avengers.
You're an Avenger. Have I killed you before?
What?
Hello and welcome to the Popcorn Hangover. My name is Alex.
My name is Graham.
And today we are discussing Antman and the Wasp Quantumania, directed by Peyton Reed, written by Jeff Lovins, from the characters created by Steve Ditko, starring Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Jonathan Majors, and Catherine Newton, releasing February 17th, 2023, with an estimated budget of $200 million. Estimated opening weekend worldwide is at $357.3 million, 118 of that coming domestically. Graham, welcome back.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
It's been a very long minute.
We've got a new song.
We do.
Yeah.
A lot of new things changing.
Yeah, lots of things. Lots of new things coming.
Yeah.
Lots of things are changing now, and we're just jumping right into it with. Honestly, I feel like this is the start of the multiverse saga, really.
Oh, absolutely.
In my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, this definitely is the kickoff for that.
We kind of had I feel like Phase 4 was just like an in-between.
Phase 4 was like a fever dream, but in the worst way possible.
Except for Spider-Man.
Yeah, no, that was great, of course. But yeah, now everything leading up. I just actually, about a week ago, as we're filming this, just got around to watching Wakanda Forever. So a few months late, but yeah. But no, just got caught up officially. So just in time for Antman.
Yeah, of course. Graham, what were your overall thoughts on Antman and the Wasp Quantumania?
Honestly, I wanted to like it more than I thought I would, than I did. It was really fun, and like it was still funny. Of course, it's Antman, don't get me wrong, but I wanted it to have like more of like a darker tone. I just saw like a flashback the other day. I sent you guys, that was like clips from like Civil War, and like look at how dark that was. And like when you think about it, like, yeah, it was such a serious tone. And like with the introduction of Kang, that's what I expected. Like that's what I wanted. And don't get me wrong, Kang I thought was great. Like definitely pulled the movie hard. But I mean, I liked it. It definitely had like a Guardians kind of feel to it, in my opinion, than like a Ant-Man past. But I liked it. I liked it again. I liked it a lot.
It's interesting. I haven't heard anyone say it has a Guardians feel to it. People just say this is like the MCU Star Wars.
In the sense...
But yeah, it's a sci-fi Star Wars-y kind of thing with comedy. That's very
just
Guardians.
Because like when they got to the quantum realm, it was like you had like all the different like races and species down there, like that had like a Guardians feel to it. Very colorful, just wild. Buildings are alive and the weapons they use, and you have holes. Like just it was, I don't know, it was funny. Like I enjoyed it a lot, but like I said, I expected to have a more serious tone, but like I said, overall, I did like the movie.
I would mostly agree with that. I thought it was fine. I was concerned going into it when they were talking about how it was going to be more serious, and this was the introduction of Kang and everything. Because Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp are both really their palate cleansers and prepping you for what's coming up next, and they're supposed to be fun little heist movies. And this wasn't that.
It's kind of a heist movie.
I mean, there's a quick heist that lasted 2 seconds.
Yeah, like 6 minutes. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. This didn't feel like an Ant-Man movie to me. It just felt like a Kang movie, and we had to do all this other Ant-Man stuff. I don't know. It's just...
Yeah.
I feel like this movie had a bit of an identity crisis.
Kind of like how Civil War was at Captain America. It was like a mini Avengers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But this is that, but in the worst way possible.
Yeah. They did it wrong in this fashion. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there was a bit of an identity crisis of them trying to bring back what they had been doing and what was working in the other two, but also doing all these other things for Feige and the MCU overlords who need all the plans to come and work together. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this being a Kang movie. If you think about it, we've seen 2 Kangs so far.
Right.
We have
He Who Remains.
Who was so powerful that he broke off and created one, perfect timeline, and essentially destroyed all the other Kangs and like locked them off. So he's really, really powerful. He's dead.
Right.
Now we have the King the Conqueror, who the other kings were terrified of because they thought that he would stop them. So now he's dead. he's more than likely dead, and he seems to be one of the most powerful Kangs.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And that happened to Ant-Man, who is powerful, but Ant-Man is no Doctor Strange
like
or
low
Thor
tier.
or...
Yeah.
So I know going into the future, I'm a little concerned about how I'm supposed to be terrified of
someone
Kang
who
as a
Ant-Man
villain
destroyed. Yeah.
when Ant-Man can knock him out, no problem.
Right. And there were some of those like fights too in the movie, like where they were like full on fist fighting. And then at some points in the movie, Kang has full on blasters that just destroy everything in its path. Those just weren't like used against Ant-Man. Well, yeah, they were used against civilians and like other people, but like
it was. But at the end when they were doing the fist fight, that it had broke because Ant-Man smashed him into a bridge several times.
Yeah, little Hulk moment. Yeah,
that's another thing that bothered me too, is the amount of parallels to other movies. So we have that, right? Just a direct reference to it, even though they wouldn't actually know that happened,
right?
The Korg and Meek were basically in this movie.
Yep,
the big yellow Cyclops dude screaming revolution as he runs out of the ship, and then the pink comic relief, like cute guy. That was very Korg and Meek to me. I don't know. There was lots of just. I just don't know what
like
else.
Copycats, kind of like repeats.
Yeah, I feel like this movie just didn't know what it wanted to be.
Yeah.
That being said, I still enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. My second time I went to go see it, I was sitting. It was actually the theater was about 75% full on like a Sunday afternoon. It was really odd.
Yeah.
So people clearly really like Ant-Man and Paul Rudd and everything, but there was a little kid sitting next to me, and like when the Marvel Studios logo started, he like started jumping up and down his seat and had the biggest smile on his face. And like, I think seeing that before I started kind of gave me a reality check.
Like,
was
what's it about?
Remember whenever I was like that and I got really excited?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm getting burnt out, but like, this isn't necessarily entirely for me.
Right.
This is also made for children too. And like, you can enjoy different aspects of it without it being dark and gritty and rated R, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Looking at like critical reception, I think that's been the biggest headline surrounding this movie. Rotten Tomatoes critic score has a 47% and an 84% audience score.
Wild.
IMDb has a 6.6 somehow, and then Letterboxd has a 2.8 out of 5 stars.
Okay.
So yeah, it's the second MCU movie to be given a rotten score.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Like, from like if you look at it from a critic perspective, like I get it, but also from a fan perspective, like absolutely, like I'd give it a relatively higher rating. Like the 84%, that sounds right. That fits right. Like I don't see either of those numbers, and I'm like, that shouldn't be there. Like as weird as that is, like I don't know. I feel like the 47% should be a little lower. There's a few movies I would rank this way over in the list of movies. So that's why I'm like kind of shocked it has. Like it's the second lowest. What's under it? Dark World?
Eternals.
Oh, okay. No, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. This is rated lower than Thor 2?
Yep.
Holy moly.
Lower than the Incredible Hulk even.
Wow. See that's wrong to me. That's what I would say is like that's picked wrong. But
here's why I think it's rated so low. If you were to watch Thor: The Dark World or Hulk, those are self-contained stories, and you could watch just that and
be totally fine.
Yeah, just at any point in time, in any order, you'll be fine. And that's what a critic likes. Critics watch lots of movies, and so they want to go into a movie and they want to watch a self-contained story. And this is not at all that. This is entirely just...
So they're setting up an entire phase.
This is literally just a trailer for what's to come, and that's it. There's not a lot of... I don't know. It's not a very singular story, and any aspects... Like, the singular aspects of the story were kind of just shoved in there.
Right.
I mean, I know they kept Antman and the Wasp as the title because it's just continuing what was there before.
Dude, until literally yesterday.
I don't know why they paid Evangeline Lilly because I think I could count on one hand the amount of lines she had.
Yeah. She was in it. She was there.
She was there to shoot blasters and shrink.
Yep.
And that was about it.
Yeah. I literally, not until yesterday did I even realize that the title, I thought it was just Ant-Man Quantumania. I had no idea they even titled the Wasp in the title of
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah. It's not Ant-Man 3. It's I mean it's but
I mean, maybe it's Ant-Man and Michelle Pfeiffer's Wasp because
dude,
she was in the movie quite a bit.
Yeah, I thought she did great.
Yeah. Let's just jump into acting really quick. Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer. I mean, if you're gonna pay Michelle Pfeiffer money to be in a series like this and like Ant-Man and the Wasp, she was not given the time that she was due. Like seeing her here, fantastic all the way around.
Yeah,
did a really great job, even though her character didn't make a lot of sense to me. I mean,
in the beginning, I was literally so annoyed with her too, and I was like, "You're so scared, but you won't say anything. Like you're so stupid." Like I was literally so annoyed.
I hate that trope where it's like, I got to get us out of here, so I can't explain anything. Like we can't walk and talk. We got to sit in silence while we travel.
We're gonna take like 6 hour ride on the back of a creature you've never seen, but I can't explain anything to you. Yeah,
until it's convenient for the plot.
Right.
Yeah. Some of the story stuff, or the fact like there is this big overlord Kang, and you know that everyone in your family is interested in the quantum realm. And at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, you are messing with the quantum realm before you get snapped. But Kang and the risks of that just never came up. Weird plot holes that bothered me, but whatever. Michelle Pfeiffer was a major standout. Paul Rudd, though, I don't think this movie would work without Paul Rudd, obviously.
No.
Just some of the lines, if anyone else had it wouldn't be delivered work
properly. It wouldn't work at all.
I think the best one was when the mind reader was like, he has 7 holes, and like instead of just moving on to the next line, you just see him pause and like process. Yeah, I do.
Which I was literally like, I was like, what is he thinking about when I saw that? And I was like, oh yeah, how many 12? So I'm like counting in my head, and then some guy in my theater literally was like, oh yeah, he's right. Like literally just out loud. And I was like, oh, I mean, yeah, he is right. Like,
yeah. Ridiculous scene. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But like, I mean, yeah, Paul Rudd just killed it on every aspect. Even some of the serious parts. I mean, seeing him scream like, Kang, we had a deal. It's like, oh, okay.
Like, he was getting pissed too.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
He was pissed because his daughter, played by Catherine Newton, was stolen. What you have some thoughts about recasting Cassie?
I had the whole age thing backwards. I thought she was way older than she was in this, even though Catherine Newton's like in her like late 20s. I think she's like older. She's like 26 or 27.
I'm pretty sure she's like 22.
Nah. I'm pretty sure she's 26 straight up.
She definitely doesn't look 26.
No, which to be fair, I didn't think so either. Like she played, but like for her to be playing what in this age, like 17, 19? Yeah. I don't know. The whole like age thing, like you helped me make it make sense, but like for a minute, it like did not make sense. And I was like annoyed with it, but also I just did not like her.
Really?
At all. I'm pretty sure she said, I actually saw a TikTok on this. She said dad legitimately like 67 times in the movie, which someone broke it down. And that means that she says dad either 1 to 2, in some cases 3 times within every like 3 minutes. I was like, bro, what? Like that's ridiculous.
I'm gonna sidebar because it's a really perfect segue that you're setting up here.
Okay.
That's not Catherine Newton's fault.
No, it's not. That's the writing. I get that.
That's the writing.
Yes.
And
no,
honestly, I think the writing was this movie's biggest flaw.
Absolutely.
The writing in this movie was just awful.
Yeah.
None of it, like, it just didn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about, like with the Michelle Pfeiffer thing. Yeah, just the dialogue of we have to make a point that like she's saying dad over and over and over again. I really didn't like how there were no stakes throughout the entire movie. I thought at the end, like Ant-Man and the Wasp were going to be stuck in the quantum realm and they got to like rise, help build up the civilization. And then just magically Catherine Newton's like, oh no, because quantum realm, the times are different. It didn't matter when you were in the quantum realm, but now that like you're stuck there and I'm not, we're just going to send it through. Also, how did she know they defeated Kang? For all that she knew, Kang killed them, and then she opened the portal, and Kang just walked through.
Exactly. Yeah.
So many plot holes. The biggest issue, like I think the writing had, when you're doing a very character driven story, you need to have character growth, right? Yeah. And they need to grow and change. And that's what people mean when they say character growth. They need to, evolve, become different people, go from point A to point B. Go from being a dick to not a dick. Modoc was the only one who had any sort of actual character growth.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm pretty sure Jeff Levin saw character growth and went, "Oh, I can do that. Ant-Man, big. Cassie, big.
Yeah, just literally grow.
You're
Physically
literally
grow.
going to grow."
Which I had something against that too, because I just rewatched the second one, like I said. And in the second one, he grows so big. It's his first time ever going that big. And I'm pretty sure in this one, he went like 10 times the size of that also. But when he went big for his first time, he was like, he was so exhausted, he literally fell asleep in the water, right? Cassie just going big and small like it's nothing. She had no, and also when they fell through in the very beginning and he like gets big, he catches her, like defends her, protects her. Girl was wearing a suit the whole time and she knew how to shrink and grow. Mm-hmm. Why did she not whip that out? Why did they not have her take that out? Like there were so many little things. I was like, okay, that did not make sense. Okay, you should have, because she was like, oh, I'm so hungry. Oh, I'm so tired. And he's like, yeah, there's side effects. And I'm like, homie, you like died almost. Like you passed out. Like she should not be. But she was conscious, unfortunately.
Yeah, just a lot of inconsistencies throughout it.
Yeah.
On the way back, me and my girlfriend were talking, and we came up with so many one-liners that would have been really funny.
Yeah.
And very obvious, and instead they were all ruined.
Yep.
So here's a few of them.
Okay.
Number one, Paul Rudd thought the entire movie is talking about Captain America.
Yep.
Why did he not throw in like I can do this all day kind of thing, and then King, like in the clip earlier, be like, oh, like I've killed all sorts of Avengers, whatever. Like I
feel like
get
I've heard that one before. Something like, yeah.
That would have been really funny. Number two, instead of saying Modoc, don't be a dick, he'd be like, Modoc, like why don't you just like what, get a big head? That would have been so funny.
Could have gone more of like his ego or something like that.
Yeah, don't get a big head, and he's just literally a big head. Like that fits so well into this vibe. The last one we came up with, I think it would have been more sweet than anything, is like whenever Cassie grows, she's like, Dad, and then like she's like, oh my God, Cassie, you're so big. Like again, that ties into the whole theme of the movie of how
he missed so many birthdays.
How he missed all these birthdays and he
Yep.
was gone, and he missed it, and being like, oh, like you're really big, and like going back to that reference, but also like it.
Like a little emotional little tie-in.
Those are tiny things that we came up with in like 30 seconds. And I can't think of any reason for them to not be there.
Just put you in the writer's room, man.
Exactly. Why did I not write this movie?
I feel like so many people could have. It would have been
literally anyone else
so
could
much
have.
better.
Writing was bad. I also wanted to mention something that we don't talk about a lot, but I'm really passionate about, and it's about editing. I love studying editing and everything. Because the thing with editing is, if it's halfway decent, you don't notice it. You only notice good editing if you're really dialed in trying to find it.
Yeah.
This was horrendous editing all the way across, to the point where there were several times where I was just like taken out of like, why did you cut there?
Yeah.
For example, like when Scott is first being sent to go drink the ooze, and he hasn't drank it yet. There's all these people, and then Cassie's like, drink the ooze. Random cut. We're gonna go over these guys. It's like,
just to a totally different story. Yeah.
I'm like,
you should have finished
okay.
that.
And they go back, and then they're still doing the thing, and then like
no time passed between that, because they literally stopped, gave us other input, and then picked right back up.
Yeah. Just the editing throughout was just really choppy and awful, and I'm sure it's because there were lots of rewrites and things. I think that's honestly why the ending was, and maybe even the beginning was, just a voiceover. That's typically the case when you have videos like that.
Which I thought that was great.
I think it worked in the beginning. The ends.
Which did they rewrite? Because wasn't he supposed to have a podcast, not a book?
No, he does. Well, he does have a podcast, and Miss Marvel, she's a fan of his
Right.
podcast.
That's what mentioned the podcast. Because I thought someone mentioned like for marketing for this, they mentioned the podcast, and then it like switched to a book, and we don't hear anything about the podcast in this movie. And I was like, did they just totally
because
rewrite
that was something that the writers for Miss Marvel thought would be funny, and so they asked me like, hey, if we do that, will that ruin anything? And he said, no, go for it. So I mean,
I think it's a fun
that is
idea.
a good point, because I feel like it was called like Little Big Me or something like that.
Yeah,
very similar to the book title.
Yeah,
so I wonder
Watch Out for the Little Guy or whatever. Which you can buy that book in real life.
I know. I think I need it.
I was gonna order it. I don't think I've read a book in probably like 12 years.
I think,
but
you're not gonna. That's not a book for.
I'm not gonna read
reading.
it. It's a cute little coffee table. What are those?
Exactly.
They're coffee table books or whatever. That's what my wife buys. She buys all these pretty little white books or whatever that just lay there.
It wasn't that. It's still like a normal sized book. It still looks like a biography, but I still think it would be awesome to just put.
But they're just
on
ones
a
that you
shelf
just like
somewhere.
set out. Exactly. Yeah. I might skim through it if I bought it. Who knows? Feeling a little bored.
You know.
Feeling
how
a
it
little
is.
small one day. Who knows?
You need a little pick me up.
A little pick me up.
Graham, do you have any final thoughts on Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania?
If I were,
you know what we didn't talk about?
What's up?
Because we stopped talking about acting. We need to talk about Modoc first off.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We forgot about him,
Dude.
What were your thoughts on Modoc?
I didn't think I would like him as much as I did. Because I
Agreed.
was so worried. Even in like the small bits that we saw of trailers, I was like, yikes, this is going to be rough. Like, this is going to be tough. Truly, though, the tie-in with it, I am, spoilers, of course, I'm sad he's dead. Because I wanted more Modoc. Growing up, I watched the Superhero Squad.
Superhero Squad?
Yes, the animated, yeah. And Modoc
Every
was
morning
like
before
the
school.
occasional. It was Modoc and Doom were like the side by side, like they were the baddies in the movie, and then in the show, and then of course you had like your main Avenger characters. But like I like kind of grew up watching Modoc here and there, and he was just like kind of like a whiny, big headed little baby, but he was a funny little villain that was just like one of those like reoccurring kind of guys. And I'm sad that he died in this because I really, really liked Darren's Modoc. Like that, it worked so well. He was hilarious.
I really liked it until the end, until the whole "don't be a dick" thing, because that was just a really quick turn of
Such a quick flip. And the whole time he's like, I'm not Darren anymore. I'm not Darren. I'm Modoc. I'm a killer. I'm a machine. And I'm like, okay, so I thought maybe like homie's like, he's really like not Darren. He's been rewired. It's Darren's face and a machine, like kind of what I expected. Okay, literally no. He literally still has feelings, and he was able to flip a switch.
Right.
Because literally staring into the screen. I also did not like that. I felt like there was like, we need a message. The one message they could come up with was don't be a dick. And Cassie's just looking dead staring at everyone. Just, I was like, that was pointless. But I did kind of like how it tied in. Like, I thought it was funny.
I really liked and appreciated the fact that they took the fact that they have a character who is a giant floating head with tiny hands and arms, and who is a maniac. And instead of trying to be really serious about it, like I thought they would be, especially like when like the pop figure leaked and we saw that Modoc
saw,
was
like,
in
the
the movie,
helmet.
and we saw he's gonna look. I was like, oh no, like
He's going to be more of a
they're gonna
dark-
try to make this really like serious, realistic. And I like the fact that they leaned full into it and they said, no, we're gonna show you a ridiculous face, and he's just going to be ridiculous. And yes, he's gonna have all these terrifying weapons and things, but like. This idea is ridiculous, and there's no way to make that look cool in live action. And so I like that they just leaned right into it.
I thought honestly, they really did do a good job. I thought this live action, like, I don't personally know any way they could have done it better.
No,
if
exactly.
That makes sense. Like, because I've seen some like fan edits and like some things, and even like kind of like you said, like we saw like the armor and the trailers and stuff, and I was just like, dude, like no way is this going to be good. But I think taking the seriousness out of it, and just kind of playing it off as a joke, like worked so well.
I think a big critique of this movie, and I think what would have worked better with a lot of what I said earlier with the Kang thing, I think they should have taken Kang out and replaced him in Modoc. I think it could have been mostly the exact same plot, but with Modoc, just because.
Well, because even in the beginning too, where it's like, oh, like the Great One or whatever sent his like most lethal hunter, and they were like, what hunter? They could have literally just mentioned Modoc or mentioned Kang by the Great One or whatever. Never shown him. Literally never tied into it. And literally just had Modoc be the bad guy.
That would have been
for
cool.
all of this. And even if you had Kang like in the post credit or something come through to like get the ball or whatever. I literally forgot the name of it, but just to come get that part, like sure. And then it could have tied into the Great Council. But like even doing like all of Kang in this movie, like we got, and then the tease of like the council, like it just felt like so much was used for nothing.
Yeah. Last thing we should talk about. Second to last thing. Kang. Yep. Jonathan Majors.
Insane. 10 out of 10, dude.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I don't think they could have cast anyone else. I mean, this was literally perfect casting. Even like what we saw with like the council, and we saw like the main three, like him playing all of those, as well as like we're literally gonna see so many of him and like so much of him in the future. I'm so excited for it.
Yes, he did a fantastic job. Honestly, like there's nothing we're gonna say that everybody else isn't already saying. So if you're on the internet, I'm sure you know all of how amazing Jonathan Majors was.
Yeah.
As King the Conqueror.
If you need our word for it, it's
Yep.
10 out of 10.
Our seal of approval, because obviously this is what the powers that be are listening to. I have one final note.
Okay.
One unforgivable sin
Oh, shoot.
that this movie committed. Where is Michael Pena as Luis?
Yeah, no, I know. I just saw that, which, I mean, like, honestly, on my part, didn't even remember him. Wasn't even looking out for him. Like, if he would have showed up, it would have been like, hell yeah, let's go. Didn't even cross my mind that he wasn't in it until I saw something, and I was like, yeah, he was. And I was like, no, he wasn't. I was like, dude, that was, yeah.
We need him explaining things, even if it was just like really quick at the beginning. Or like, I mean, we got freaking Jimmy Woo.
Yeah, we got Woo.
Where's
The
Luis?
best pals. Which, did you know, I just saw this too. So, you know, is he Russian? Like the other crime guy who's like in their little team in 1 and 2. He voiced the Ooze guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he was technically in it, but not as his
count.
Not as his heist
Doesn't
partner.
count.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. For this to be the end of a trilogy, which Peyton Reed said that like he always envisioned this being a trilogy. I feel like the MCU hijacked Peyton Reed's idea when he initially signed on to do Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And it kind of went haywire, and I wonder what would have happened if this was just a Modoc movie with everyone trapped in the quantum realm doing their thing. I don't know. I still enjoyed it. It's a fun ride.
Yeah, definitely is.
It was honestly one of the quickest. The second time I watched it, especially, like I was doing lots of different things and running all over the place, and like that was the quickest 2 hours of the entire day. Like just
100%.
where I didn't have to focus on anything. I could just sit down, watch it,
Enjoy it.
I
get through it.
miss just a straight 2 hour movie.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of all the 3+ hour best pictures that I have to watch for March. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Quantumania. What do you have any final things to say?
No, overall, this is a movie I would go see again. 10 out of 10. I would watch this alongside the others. I feel like this would have a more fun and better fit as a trilogy if you sat down and watched 1 through 3 all the way through. But no, overall, it was fun. I liked it a lot. And yeah, I'm excited for Phase 5. Like, really excited.
Yeah. Phase 5 is off to a really great start, in my opinion, just not in terms of the individual project, but in terms of what it's preparing.
Yeah.
And also excited because I feel like Feige is finally listening, and we're getting some changes,
Yes.
and we're going to talk about those changes and our thoughts on those in the future and all the things MC related. So stay tuned. Now let's discuss some new news.
Yeah.
New news. That's
Got some news.
yeah, some news coming. I don't actually know where he announced all this stuff or why we got all these announcements. There was just one day where all of a sudden everything was happening.
Yeah. So much just out in the open. Yeah. And it was no event, no nothing. Literally just a random like Tuesday, like a week ago.
Yes, I don't know what was going on. Maybe I was just out of the loop. But this is the start of Phase 5,
Yes.
and obviously a lot of people were very disappointed with Phase 4.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. I was just waiting for something to happen.
Yeah. And it didn't.
At some point, and I was even a big proponent of like, no, it's fine. Like like things can be their own thing. But when we got Wakanda Forever, I was like, okay, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Where is all this going? But with Quantumania, we finally have a direction.
Yep.
How do you feel about Kang and the setup to the multiverse saga and like where we're going? Is this everything that you were hoping to get? Like what you were thinking? Maybe you were going the direction you were going to go in.
Like yes and no. I knew like we've been talking for years, the whole Secret War idea. Like we definitely like knew that was up and coming. But with like the way Kang is going, I don't know. I liked the idea of like Kang being introduced through Loki and like He Who Remains, like when they explained all that for the timeline control and the TVA and like all that. But honestly, it just gave me like, which I might just need to brush up on my like facts overall, but like it just gave me more confusion on like who is like in charge, who is the top of the tier when it comes to like these gods in control. Because you have all the kings who are obviously like they've been controlling stuff for years and doing their own thing, but then you also have some like the baddies like Galactus or like the like Internals. You have like them creating world celestials, and all that and stuff. But then you also have like it's not like the creator. What's it called? Like you have the Beyonder. You also have like so many other tiers that we've never even like touched on so far in MCU related. But like. And like, are they just going to the top through it all? Like, I'm curious of what they're going to do after that. And then after that, like, I mean, it's because like when you think about it, like everything has been moving so fast. I don't like it. Like they stretched the Avengers over what, like 6 years, 5 years, like phase one.
Phase one was 2008 to 2012.
Yeah. Okay. So 4 years, which I guess we've had like 4 years for the past few shows and movies. I think phase four was 3 years, I think. Or roughly like 2.5, almost 3 years with like shows and movies.
No, because WandaVision came out
in 2020. It was COVID.
2021.
No, 2020.
No, it came out in winter 2021.
Holy crap. That's crazy. Okay, then yeah, I had a ton of stuff.
Yeah,
so
January
like
15th.
Okay, so yeah, like I just feel like with everything, like they are like rushing things, which is they even mentioned they're gonna start slowing production and things on a lot, which we'll touch on here in a minute. But like I'm excited to see where the whole Kang saga goes. I like the idea of the Kangs and all of that. Like I really liked, especially the way they explained that in Loki. Like, dude, that got me hyped. That got me more hyped than I think
that right there was a really
did.
I think one of the things that Quantumania did really well, and that Quantumania improved was how they can use the shows and the movies to bounce off of each other.
Yes.
Because if you look at WandaVision and Multiverse of Madness, that was kind of the first example.
Yep.
And Wanda went through the exact same character arc in both stories, which didn't make any sense.
Nothing at all. Yeah.
But here, you can watch Loki and you watch that last episode and you get the whole, here's what's going on.
Yep.
If you watch the movies and you didn't watch Loki, you're still very aware of what's happening, and you still get a Cliff Notes version of, there's Kangs, they can travel through time, there's a bunch of them. That's all you need to know.
Yep.
And I mean, really, that is all you need to know. But if you want the nitty gritty details, Loki gives you that opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to continue to.
Definitely, especially with the post-credit scene we got, which I'm so excited for.
Yeah. I feel, I agree with you. It is moving way too fast. Because the end game is Secret Wars. I didn't mean to say end game as in reference to Endgame, but yeah. Anyway, moving on. The ultimate goal is Secret Wars, and there's been 2 Secret Wars events. They're obviously going to go with a more popular one, and that is entirely about the Fantastic Four. It was a send off for the Fantastic Four, and the whole plot of it is Doom creates his own universe using incursions to become God. And before Secret Wars, we're getting a Fantastic movie.
Fantastic Four?
We're getting a Fantastic Four movie about a year before it comes out.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm scared we're going to have those characters in the MCU for like a year.
And they're supposed to be this big part of the MCU, and that's cool. But in what...
Yeah.
And can you do Secret Wars justice? Can you do Secret Wars in the way that we all want and deserve without the main characters and everything of Secret Wars? And obviously they haven't stuck straight to the comics in the past. And I'm not expecting them to, but we're going to have this big bad in Doom, and then he's going to be like an Ultron, honestly.
Yes.
Ultron is supposed to be this massive Avengers threat, and he's introduced and taken down in 2.5 hours.
We got a better Ultron in a What If episode than we even did in that movie. And like, I feel like they're going to, I hope it's not something similar, because I can see them doing that where he's supposed to be the big bad. He's supposed to have like all this hype behind him, and then it's literally in and out.
And of course, this is all speculation, and we don't know.
What we do know is the timeline of things so far.
Sure.
And that's what's scaring us.
Here, I'll play devil's advocate to myself, and I have to keep reminding myself of this. I was terrified, and I thought I would hate No Way Home.
Yeah.
Until I saw it. I was super against Andrew and Toby being in the movie.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to happen, but I kept telling myself, no, it's just a bunch of rumors and fake Photoshop and everything.
Right.
And it happened, and I cried like a baby because I was so happy, and I watched that movie 6 times in theaters.
Yeah.
I couldn't comprehend how it was going to work, but it was done so perfectly, and I just have to have faith that they can do it again. But so far, Phase 4 has made that faith very, very rocky.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm really hoping that things will become a little clearer, and I'll be a little more prepared and excited.
Do you know from like your knowledge from like a comic book storyline standpoint, after the events of Secret Wars, what takes place? Is it like storylines follow different timelines beforehand, afterwards?
So Secret Wars is kind of used as a reset for everything.
Right.
So essentially what happens is you have incursions, right? So different universes crash into each other. It causes like an incursion. And then there's this Inhuman whose whole purpose is he blows up universes. And so all of the different versions of him happen in an incursion, and then he blows up the universe, therefore stopping the incursion, but destroys both universes. So Doom, so there's an incursion between 616, which is the main universe, and then 1610, which is the ultimate universe. That's kind of like the B universe in Marvel Comics. They collide, and Doom takes that collision, and instead of letting the guy explode, he just takes all of his power and shoves 2 universes together. So
Makes
they're
Battle World.
And makes Battle World, yes. So he's in charge of this whole new universe he created.
Okay.
At the end, they blow the guy up, the Inhuman up, and then the explosion causes a whole separate universe. I think it's still 616 technically, but both universes are collided.
And they're reset.
So, for example, Miles Morales, who's from 1610, is now a part of 616. So you have Peter Parker Spider-Man and Miles Morales Spider-Man swinging around in the same universe. So it's used as a soft reset for everything, but like the 616 story is continued. If you read Miles Morales, there isn't really we need to find a new home.
Right.
Like everyone kind of forgets about what happens every time the universe explodes or whatever. Whenever the universes collide, everyone just thinks that Doom has always been God and it's always been this way, except for a few heroes who escaped another ship. And there's all sorts of things. So like life just kind of goes on for everybody, except for the few characters who, for plot reasons, need to know what happened. So,
because my only thing is like, obviously, like with the word like we've gotten for like obviously Fantastic Four, like we mentioned, being like reset. Like I don't want to only have them for like a year and across 3 movies and that's it. Same thing with X-Men resets. Like I'm like, even if they reset a few of those, like say
I think that's how they introduce X-Men.
Okay, is with the reset after Secret Wars.
I think we're gonna get the multiverse saga, and I think we'll get the mutant saga. That's how I see things playing out.
That would be dope.
Because we're only getting Deadpool 3 in this phase.
And MCU, right. So that's why I'm actually curious too. Like with Deadpool 3 coming out, like they're not going to like just like secretly like slide in Deadpool 1 and 2 as like MCU content. No, it's like technically Deadpool 3 starts its MCU debut technically.
I would think so.
Okay.
And Deadpool, I think, is the only one who could really pull that off because of just
who he is, the character. Right. Okay. Because I didn't know if like they like, because obviously I doubt like Josh Brolin's Cable, I'm assuming is not going to be, he's not in 3 and he's not going to probably be.
I never actually saw Deadpool 2.
Really? Dude, honestly, it was dope. I liked it. I liked the first one better.
I don't like the first one. So.
I like the second one was hilarious. Cable was great.
I need to watch it.
I don't care for Domino at all, but she's going to be in the third one. But
I've heard like lots of rumors that Deadpool 3 ties directly into the King Dynasty, and maybe it's going to be that Deadpool 3 is completely independent and it's just a follow-up of the first 2, and at the end he somehow breaks the universe, allowing Kings to come through, and then that ties in, that brings him, that causes an incursion. I don't know. That's speculation that I don't really like doing all that much.
To dig into, right.
But I don't know, we have all these concerns and things, and I am optimistic for the future because Feige seems to be listening at least a little bit and pulling some strings to make things work.
Yeah.
The big one, he delayed everything pretty much.
Yeah.
The big one this year, The Marvels, it's supposed to come out in July. It's now coming out in November, if I
November 10th. Yeah.
remembering correctly. How how do you feel about the delays? Like, do you think that with the delays, do you think we'll get more movies in between? Because I was looking at the list here. There really aren't that many films in this saga. Do you think they'll push back Avengers even more and introduce more opportunities for other characters and more story? Or do you think...
Honestly, no. I think it's ideally to prevent burnout, because I think with Phase 4, I think they realized that they were just pushing and pushing and pushing. And we had, like, with COVID, like a whole year, almost 2 years of like nothing after like Endgame and stuff. And then everything comes back, and it was just one after another, which, for example, like we loved, don't get us wrong, but also then we got pickier. We got a little more annoyed when some things didn't have, like, some things didn't look this way, or they didn't spend so much time on one thing here, this, and there. And so, like, I would be fine if they just didn't shove more projects in between the delays. But, like, dude, if they're gonna do these delays, no matter what, like, they better use the time right. Because, like we talked before, like some movies, like Top Gun Maverick, beautiful, perfected. They used every minute that they had extra to make that movie better. Then you have others that just wasted the time. They just sat there until they were ready to be released. And so, like, if Marvel and Disney, if they do this, I just hope it's actually worth doing. Because otherwise, if you're going to give us the same, like, crappy movie anyway, give it to me 5 months earlier. I don't care.
And one of the reasons that he cited, too, was they're going to take more time to tweak effects, which I think has been the biggest complaint amongst not even Marvel fan, just everyone in general is like, this looks awful.
Rough, yeah.
I think Ant-Man, for the most part, looked good. Although
I really didn't have many
one of the biggest
at all.
And it annoys me so much when people are like, this movie's awful. It's all just on a green screen. And it's like, okay.
Where are you going to film the quantum realm at? Where are you going to go?
It's in the title. What were you expecting? And it's not like it looked bad. Like, it was really totally
didn't. It honestly had the, like, kind of the beauty and feel like we've seen in Guardians of the Galaxy.
There were some things that did look bad. For example, like that first scene of Cassie running when she shrank, it just looked. I've seen video games that look better than that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Anyway, I'm really glad they're taking time to
perfect
things, and like I think everyone would agree that I don't think anyone was complaining about getting 2 movies every year, and it was actually an event that you were excited for. Like I anticipated every new movie. I haven't anticipated.
Anticipating Avengers 4.
Yes,
6 years before it came out. You know, like
I haven't fully anticipated a movie in so long. It's always been, I need to go see this because I need to see all of them. So we'll go see it. Like, it's never been a lot of excitement. But the Marvels was the example I gave earlier. That's like the one this year that's being delayed. And I like that with the Marvels, and I don't know how confirmed this is, but it seems to me that they're also listening on other things. For example, everyone hates Brie Larson as Carol Danvers. I will die on the hill that she is doing a fine enough job. She just hasn't been given a fair chance, and I will die on that hill.
She's been given a fair chance because other movies that she's been in were like mid, and this was like ass. Like, excuse me, but like it was bad. Like, that's the thing. Like,
Captain Marvel wasn't great.
Technically, Captain Marvel has a better tomato score than Ant-Man.
Captain Marvel was better than Ant-Man, so all right.
We can't really argue too much. Yeah.
No, I don't know. That's a story of another time, but obviously fans are not a big fan of her.
Right.
Fans were a really big fan of Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
And so what I've heard is that the Marvels is being told from the perspective of Kamala Khan and is going to focus primarily on her.
I'm all for.
Which, I think is really cool. I really liked Miss Marvel up until the finale. I was... go listen to our Miss Marvel episode if you want our thoughts on that. I will never forget sitting in a hotel room watching that episode and just being like, I have to make an instant reaction to this. I'm just very angry. Anyway, so I like that they're, even on small things like that, it seems like they're listening and they're adapting a story that consists of all 3 of them. To be fair, they're probably going to be very similar stories. Very similar arcs, whoever was the primary focus. And so I'm excited to see that they are adapting to fit what audiences are actually wanting. Yeah. Without giving us everything that we ask for.
Right. And I think especially like with taking a break like this and giving it more time, like the Marvels is a perfect movie to do. Like I feel like they could use, I don't know how necessarily, but obviously there was like a ton of feedback on Captain Marvel, obviously, and Brie Larson, but like everyone loves Monica Rambeau character, as well as like Miss Marvel. Like I think having the three of them, it's going to be a lot less focused with Brie Larson's Carol Danvers, which we're all okay with. But I'm actually like kind of excited. The poster that they dropped.
The poster looked really cool.
That was fire. I'm sorry, that was clean.
It may or may not be entirely musical, but there's almost definitely a musical number in it.
Why?
So
Why? What?
So part of it is they're going to different worlds, and so one of the worlds they're going to, they communicate through singing and dancing, and so to talk they have to like put on a whole number. And
see, like I got, like you remember the
so
CW? You know when the
sad.
CW did that with like Supergirl and the Flash, because Grant Gustin and Melissa, whatever her last
Sure.
name is, were both in Glee together, and it was like their little musical tie-in. Okay, sure, whatever. It's a CW. Do that. Why do this? Who out of the three of them sings?
Brie Larson.
Bro, why? Bro, why? I don't. Okay. That's gonna be. I'm gonna hate this movie a little more. I love musicals.
I
I
shouldn't have said
love
anything.
numbers. I say I
I'm
had
so excited.
no idea about that.
I'm just
all.
really excited to see something different. I think
Not
that's what I'm
that.
excited for.
I want different too.
This also is it's not confirmed. This is just like almost definitely going to be happening, but that seems to happen a lot nowadays.
Which I don't know why though. Because you're right. Like some people want like a different thing. They need something different to throw in there. But no, why music? Why
Because
the musical numbers?
They haven't done that before.
Yes, because this is normally like action movies. This is like sci-fi action.
It's still an action movie.
If Star Wars ever just came out and busted out a musical number, they're not going to do that.
I don't know about you, but I can bop to
You would
any
watch it.
any track from any Star Wars score.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
saying if we got Star Wars where Luke just comes out, he's got his lightsaber, he turns it off, flips it around, it's a microphone, and he just goes hard. Absolutely.
I don't.
not.
Okay,
Absolutely not.
I'm pretty sure I've sent you one of these before, but on Instagram, I always get recommendations from someone who turned Revenge of the Sith into a musical in the style of Hamilton. It is so good. It's so good.
Which, okay, here's the thing. Like, that's a little bit different, though. Because if it is like a show, like a Broadway show, right? With a story being told through music, the whole thing, yes. But you don't just throw a musical number in an action movie. That's not the comedic relief unless it's going to be so bad everyone's laughing at it. Like,
I mean, Thor:
don't
Love
know.
and Thunder is a rom-com and an action movie.
yeah, sure. That's fine, though.
Okay,
That's fine, though.
okay.
That's fine.
All right.
But music, no.
Okay.
Love has a spot everywhere.
I'm
Alex.
sorry. I'm sorry that I
know.
offended you
No, I just, dude. Oh,
with,
that actually,
with some rumors.
that rumor, I hope it stays a rumor. That literally made my hope for this movie gone again.
Oh well,
I don't know why.
I'm
Like, I
sorry.
just, man, dude.
Well,
I was
let me cheer you up.
okay. me some good news.
Deadpool will be R-rated.
Certified R. Absolutely. I saw that. I'm so excited for that. Which doesn't like, of course, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not like hoping we get like all this like crazy like language and nudity and graphic scenes. Like, I'm not like asking for that. But with what they've done in Deadpool in the past, it's done well. And that's who the character is. And if they weren't able to stay true to that, dude, like the Disney merger, that was going to be an issue for a lot of people. And a lot of people would have issues with that. So I'm just happy that they are going to stick with that. It would be the first Disney related content.
First
Marvel,
thing created by Disney.
right? That's rated R. So
Yeah, that's a pretty heavy concession
it
to make.
really is. Yeah.
I mean, that's that's a change to your entire brand, really.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see like Deadpool 1 had nudity in it. Deadpool 2 did not. Of course, both very graphic and bloody, which action packed you're gonna get. And the language is the heaviest part with the R rating.
I think the concessions we're gonna get is
Yeah.
language and some decapitations.
Yeah.
Which I say that all. Yeah, just people's heads getting chopped
Yeah.
off. It is what it is.
And here's the thing, I'm kind of excited for that because I think we got one of the best Wolverines in Logan.
Logan is one of the best superhero movies.
Yes.
Of all
Don't get me
time.
wrong, but with that having its R rating and being able to do the things it did, it literally got its own Red Band trailer, which was dope. Like when like with Wolverine, with Hugh Jackman being in this also, like I hope we get to see like an angry side, like not like a rampagey like Wolverine, but I want to see like homie like claws right up the head, like something like that. Like I want to see some like action when it comes to that. So like I said, yeah, no one cares about the nudity part, but like with the R rating, like the language is still like whatever. It's in every movie now. You just, some people hear it, some people don't. But yeah, I just want them to keep like the gory and like bloodiness of it. That's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, so obviously they're making lots of, and the other thing we kind of mentioned casually, fewer shows.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Honestly, with my lifestyle, that sounds great. I have such a hard time with the amount of Star Wars stuff. Like I was so hyped up for like, not Breaking Bad, goodness, Bad Batch. Yeah, have not started season 2 of that yet.
Very different show.
I know. No, absolutely, completely different. Yeah, no, but haven't started that yet. Like when Mando comes out, that's about to come out. So like Disney be like putting out shows, not just Marvel related, but I'm okay with the fewer shows because I'm gonna have a little more time to catch up on not as much that I'm missing.
I think I am going to miss having the routine of staying up until 2 every Tuesday night to watch the thing, because every time a show ended, there'd be like 2 weeks where I just sit there and I'm like, I can't sleep, but I don't know what to do. And then a new show would come out and I'd have something to do. I'd have a purpose in life again. And
just need to get like melatonin, my guy. Go to bed. But no, I don't know. I kind of liked the constant cycle of new things coming out, because it's just, I don't know. It's something that we don't get anymore in the age of streaming. But also, I feel like if they were able to keep up with the shows themselves and like they weren't terrible,
right? And so I mean, the two we're getting are Secret Invasion and Loki season 2.
Excited about it.
Yeah, both are really great, but some of the shows that are being delayed are Echo. I don't think anyone cares about Echo.
Yep.
Ironheart is going to be a very CG heavy show with probably not the biggest. I mean, it's probably not the same $25 million budget per episode thing that we're used to.
Right.
Agatha Covenant of Chaos, I don't think anyone's asking for. So there's lots of, I think there's potential for really cool stories.
Right.
But I don't think it's anything that anyone is particularly asking for.
Yeah.
And if you can, again, kind of slow down the mass burnout that's happening right now,
it's just gonna make people more hyped for
yeah,
the shows.
it's gonna
once they do come.
and if you have a delay or some sort of slow season, you can just casually put that in, because I'm sure that most of these shows are about finished. The only show that I'm not so sure about is X-Men 97. I really want to see
I haven't
that.
heard like much on that at all since
there hasn't
the
been
announcement of it.
anything about it. I loved the old X-Men cartoon.
Yeah.
I'm excited for X-Men 97 and have more of that and have that, see that story wrapped up.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah, that's an hour. We've been talking for
Holy moly.
We've been talking for a long time. Graham, do you have any final thoughts on the MCU, the directions going? Are they listening? Are they not? Should listen more, listen less?
They are listening for sure, which makes me excited about the future. Again, I am blind as a bat when it comes to what's coming up. Like I have some theories, I have some expectations, not some wants necessarily, but whether those are going to happen or not, dude, I have no idea whatsoever. So I'm excited. I'm very excited for Phase 5, especially with the start with like just having Ant-Man so far, kind of Luke the King saga, like all that coming out. It's going to be good. So I'm excited. Like, so with the shows being delayed and things like that, it is what it is. If anything, it'll just make them better. So I'm excited to see what comes out.
Yeah, I don't want to say I'm necessarily, I mean, I am excited, but I'll just use a different word. I'll say like I'm highly anticipating what's coming. I'm skeptically optimistic.
That's a good phrase to put.
I'm doing everything I can to stay optimistic, because there has very obviously been a very big decrease in quality and what's going on, and I cannot see what Feige is seeing. And that's okay. We're just going to have to trust him, and hopefully he doesn't screw us all over.
Phase 5's motto needs to be quality, not quantity.
Quality, not quantum T.
Quantum. Oh shoot! Got him.
This has been the Popcorn Hangover. I'm Alex. That's Graham. We've been discussing Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and asking the question: is Disney listening to all of us? What were your thoughts on Ant-Man, Quantumania? let us know down in the comments below and on all the things, Instagram, TikTok, patreon.com/popcorn hangover. Next week, we're starting out season 2 with a movie, so we gotta know the show next, and your tease is out there, but I'm gonna go with Taste the Rainbow. That's your tease. Have fun with that one. That's all I got for you.
Peace.